Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And little Boo Radley is right here. He's very, very scared right now because he said, "Don't tell them I'm scared." Boo Radley, you don't want me to tell them that you're scared? His little face is so sweet. He's so scared right now because we've been up here filming videos and it's silent in the house. And the trash guy came down the street and he could hear it. He ran over and came up to me every time. He gets scared with thunderstorms and stuff like that. He comes running over to me and he claws onto my chest. It's so funny because I was saying this in my vlog the other day. When Alex comes home, I don't know if he thinks that Alex is the alpha dog in the house or whatever, but he follows me around all day long. And maybe it's just because he misses Alex, I don't know. But the second that Alex comes home, he follows Alex everywhere. If Alex is up here looking at TikToks or napping, Boo Radley's right next to him. Boo Radley follows him everywhere. But the second that he gets terrified of storms or whatever in the middle of the night, he comes right to me. Even if Alex is laying right there, he comes to me. He's always super, super scared. And what's so funny about this is that, I'm going to work this into some kind of analogy on here today. What's so funny about this, I was just talking about this in my vlog the other day, is that a couple nights ago, I think it was 2 nights ago, we had horrible thunderstorms. I mean, it was lightning, thunder. It was really, really loud. It was crashing thunder outside. And we have a skylight in our bathroom. So at night, if we don't have the bathroom door closed, you can see the lightning just comes and it explodes the room in light. And you can hear it and all that kind of stuff. And he gets terrified of storms. We've tried thunder jackets. We've tried everything that anybody's ever sent us, and anything that my vet has recommended, we've tried, and nothing works for the poor little guy. He's so terrified, and he just shakes and shakes and shakes, and he gets so scared and he whimpers and stuff. But what's so funny about it is that if you take him out in the storm, he's not a dog that really minds rain and snow. He'll run around in it. It can be lightning and thundering and pouring down rain, and he's just running around in it he doesn't even notice it. When he's in the middle of the storm, it's he doesn't really notice it. It's when he's upstairs and he hears the sounds and he doesn't know what that is, And I think many times that's, here's my analogy. I think that's many times, how we look at things in life, when we're not in the middle of it, when it's not our lived experience and we don't understand it, things that we don't understand because we're not in the middle of it are scary to us. And then with what we do with that fear turns into ignorance and turns into, us just pushing it away and being resistant to trying to understand it instead of trying to get in the middle of it. I knew I'd be able to turn that into an analogy somehow. And, him getting out in the middle of the storm, it doesn't scare him anymore because he understands it. He's oh, it's a rainstorm. I'm out here in the rain. I always tell him, I say, Boo Radley, those are God's tears. God's crying right now. Alex just rolls his eyes. Then when it thunders, I said, God just bowled a strike, Boo Radley. He's bowling. He just bowled a strike. Alex just thinks I'm so silly when I say that stuff. But anyway, he doesn't understand it. When he's upstairs in the bedroom and he just hears it, it's just the sounds and they scare him, and he doesn't understand it because, he doesn't relate the fact that it's not, I'm in the middle of a rainstorm. He's I just hear these loud noises and these bright flashes of light, and it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know what those are, and so I'm afraid of it, and so I want to hide from it. I want to, I want to be, warmed. I want to be held and comforted because I don't understand it, and I think that's often what we do with things that we don't understand, is that we run from them and we choose to stay ignorant instead of choosing to get in the middle of the storm and understand them, which is why I love, and I've shared this the last couple times in some of my videos, I love to hear people's life experience, their learned experience about things, and really understand them for myself. I love to hear other people's experiences and whatnot, and learn it for myself, and educate myself, and often my mind changes on those things. And my mind was changed not too long ago. It was after the eclipse, and it was Cousin Fun Day, and we had gone to go get coffee. And so Caroline was I got to run in to go to the bathroom really quick, so can you go inside and get coffee instead of us driving through? And I was yeah, absolutely. So I went inside to go get coffee. Hold on a second, my therapist is texting me. Let's see what he said. Okay, and so he was running late, and so he asked me if we could reschedule. So anyway, so I was talking to, so that would have been last Wednesday? It would have been last Wednesday, I think. last Wednesday or last Thursday, but I think it was last Wednesday. And it was, the eclipse, the total eclipse had been on Monday. And here's the deal with the total eclipse. So I didn't really know what to expect, and people were like so excited about it here in Indianapolis, in my neighborhood especially, because they were doing something by the pool, and it was like a lot of older people in my neighborhood, and they had never seen a total eclipse. A lot of people have said on videos of mine, well, like, the total eclipse happens every year. That's just not true, first of all. That's an ignorant statement. It's just not true. I've Google searched it enough to know. But the thing is that in certain parts of the United States, in certain parts of the world, like, the totality of being able to see the total eclipse only happened for like 10 states, and it was like an upward movement across the United States. The rest of the world didn't get to see it. I got comments and messages from people that were asking me to send them pictures that have watched my videos from all over the world, and so that's just not true. And for for where I live in Indiana, we won't see another total eclipse for another 20 years. I think the next one's in 2044. So I don't know that I'll be here, but most of my neighbors at the pool, they're like 70, 80. They were like, oh, well, we're not going to be here, so this is our one and only time seeing the eclipse. And they were really, really excited about it. I had read so many things on social media. He's being so sweet. He's just like laying right here, letting me pet him right now. He usually runs all over the place when I'm making videos. But, I had like days leading up to the eclipse. I had made this video about the glasses to use and things like that. And I was so excited about the eclipse. And then I started seeing a lot of people online say things like, I don't understand why everybody is so excited about this eclipse. It's really not that big of a deal. And other people be like, yeah, why are people going crazy? And why are they doing this? And I do think like maybe people went a little bit overboard, like the state of Indiana shut down schools and, but it wasn't because they wanted the kids to see the eclipse. It was because of safety issues. And it was because they weren't sure what was going to happen with traffic and getting the kids home from school. Businesses shut down, all that stuff shut down. They were so worried about traffic. My husband drove home right afterwards, and he was like, there was no traffic at all. My cousin drove home right afterwards. She was like, there was no traffic at all. So, all these fears that they had. But there were a lot of people that were like, who cares about this? I'm not even going to go out and look at it. And there was so much negativity and cynicism about the eclipse that I almost kind of bought into it a little bit, And I shared this story in my vlog not too long ago about the first time that I did a readathon on BookTube. And I kind of really, and I'm just going to share the short story of this because I'm sure most of you have already heard the story. But I just kind of really thought at the last minute, I was so excited to do a readathon. A readathon is where you read so many books in a week and you complete challenges and stuff. And I'd always wanted to do one of those since I started watching BookTubers. And I was so excited about it. And the last minute, I kind of thought, this is really, really corny. My husband and our friends Melissa and Jason were going to see this DJ downtown, and none of them made me feel corny about it. They were so supportive of it. But at the last minute, I was like, I should be like out with my husband. Why am I doing this like readathon thing? Like, this is so corny. And I almost stopped it at the last minute, like it was starting at midnight. And right before midnight, I almost like brought my books inside and was like, don't do this. This is corny. This is stupid. Why are you doing this? At 46 years old, why are you being excited about a readathon? Like, this is corny. And, and then I looked at my phone and it had turned midnight, and I just started logging my books into Goodreads, and I started it with the reading, whatever, and I had such a blast that week. I mean, to this day, of all we're coming up on 8 years of being on BookTube, and the 8 years I've been consistently posting on YouTube, it's probably one of my highlights. That readathon that I did that year is probably one of my highlights on YouTube. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so happy I did it, right? Instead of staying cynical and, negative about it. Well, I wasn't really sure if I was going to even go down to the pool. They did this whole thing where people were bringing food and they had it all set up. People asked me, they're like, did you bring those donuts you bought? Yes, I brought the donuts I bought. People always try to get in with that stuff. They're like, well, you bought those donuts. Did you take those donuts? Yes, I took those donuts down there. Everybody was bringing food down there. So I wasn't even sure if I was going to go. My neighbors across the street, they were having construction done in their house. So they weren't going to go down there. And they said they were just going to step out in the street. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll just step out in the street with them. I didn't really understand going into it. I thought it was literally like a 4-minute thing. Like, it passed over and that was it, right? I didn't realize there was like a partial eclipse that happened like almost an hour before that. So I was sitting on the front porch, and I just taken a shower and everything like that, and my neighbors came down, these favorite neighbors of mine, and they were like, come down to the eclipse with us at the pool. And I was like, okay. And so they're like, no, we're not going to let you say no. And so I ran inside, and I got my, coffee and all this kind of stuff, and I ran down there with all my glasses, because I bought all these glasses, so I was going to give them away. Couldn't give those things away. There's donation places, so they're donating them because there's going to be eclipse in South America, and actually one of my neighbors in the neighborhood, she is collecting them so she can, like, go and take them someplace, which is very, very nice. But, like, there's police departments, and you can look it up online if you have extra glasses, because I have a lot of extra glasses. So you can look it up online so you can donate those glasses so they can give them away for free in South America for the next eclipse. So anyway, so I went up there, and I had a blast, I did a whole video about it on my Peter Does Stuff channel. I had such a blast sitting with my neighbors, and I sat next to this woman that was 91, and, she was kind of laughing. She was like, yeah, I'll never see this again, never seen it before. And she was sharing all these huge moments that she had had in her life, and all these things that, she had seen and experienced for the very first time in her, 91 years. And that was kind of a moment in itself. And just to be up there with all my neighbors while, my one neighbor's part of the pool crew, and she had this playlist for the eclipse, and it had, like, Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart on there, and, Moon Shadow by Cat Stevens, and she's playing it. We're all sitting there looking up, and it was just this moment in time. And it was such a moment. Like, I have to say, there are moments that I have experienced that I know I will look back on for the rest of my life. That moment was a moment that I will look back on for the rest of my life. The eclipse was not only beautiful, but it was a spiritual experience as well for me. And every person I've talked to since then said the same thing. I haven't talked to one person that has said, yeah, it was a joke, it was stupid. So when I was in the coffee shop, I was talking to this guy, and I said, did you get to see it, or were you working that day? And he goes, no. He went to the Speedway, and the Indianapolis Speedway, which is where the Indianapolis 500 is, Purdue University did, like, a huge thing out there. It was, like, all day. They had, like, classes they were teaching about the solar eclipse. They had, like, it was on and on and on. Tons of people went out there. It was supposed to be, like, the best place to view it along the whole stretch of the totality. And I was like, what was it like? And he was like, oh, my God, it was amazing out there. Our friends Melissa and Jason went. They said it was amazing. And so I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I almost didn't even look at it. I went down to my pool, and we had, like, a perfect view of it. And I said, I want to make sure I read his exact quote. I said I almost didn't go down there because I was reading all this stuff online, and people were, like, making fun of it and saying it was stupid, you shouldn't go look at it, why is everybody so obsessed with it? And he looked at me and he said, yeah, the easiest thing is to be cynical. He said, we become such a cynical society that we put down everything. We put down getting excited about a movie, getting excited about a show, and things like that. And, and I was thinking about that because, I'm somebody that my humor is very sarcastic. If you watch my drama channel, you know that. My humor is very sarcastic. I get it from my dad, right? But, I kind of, in the last year, I feel like there's a huge amount of cynicism, and I think social media has really pushed that. But I think there's also kind of like a rebirth of innocence, a little bit of, like, people, even adults, getting excited about, like, getting Taylor Swift tickets and going to see Taylor Swift, or, going to see some movie for the first time, or, going, like, I've had so many friends of mine that, like, got excited about going camping or whatever, like, we have friends of ours right now that have saved up to go to like, they go on one big trip every single year, and they're in the Maldives right now, and they're, like, having a blast, and everything from that to, like, me getting excited about doing this movie night on my Peter Does Stuff channel. I'm so excited about that, that, like, I get to pick a movie that I watched years ago growing up, and I love it so much, and I'm so excited about that. And so it's every little moment, and getting excited about it. It's like, listen, we have one life, Let's not be cynical about life. There are people that are so bitter and so cynical about life. If somebody likes something, let them like it, Now, that doesn't mean that my sarcastic humor is going to change. It's not, just because I made that comment. But, off camera, in real life, if you enjoy something, enjoy it. It doesn't really matter what other people have to say. So I think I'm going to go and look at that stuff with kind of, people are going to continue to be cynical. I'm going to continue to be cynical. People are going to continue to be sarcastic. I'm going to continue to be sarcastic. But to look at things with a more innocent eye and go into them and be like, wow, let's enjoy this beautiful moment. And I'm so grateful that I did. And I thought that was such an interesting sentiment that he said that, it's easier to be cynical. I think it is. I think it's easier to be mean. I think it's easier to be mean and cruel than it is to be nice and forgiving. I think it's easier to be cynical than it is to be, loving of situation. And it's easier to be sarcastic and joking. Trust me, I do it all the time, I'm sarcastic of myself. I make fun of myself. It's easier to make fun of myself than allow somebody else to make fun of me. It's the whole thing. It's easier to fall into the negative than it is to work really hard towards the positive. And, as something that my friend Tanya has said to me for years and years and years, do you want to be part of the problem or do you want to be part of the solution? And today I want to be part of the solution. And part of the solution for me is living in the positive, So That's what I'm going to aim for. I just want to share all that with you. A little story time for you guys over here from all different parts of the spectrum of the story, telling all different kinds of stuff. And Little Boo Radley would like to say thank you for listening. He's right down here. I've been petting him the whole time. He's like, I got a whole 14 minutes worth of petting today, sitting down here listening to this video. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.